Okay, here we are again for Sue from Canada, trialing kit number 2. Again, the brief is not pastels, not girly, blues and greens. She likes blues and greens, and I showed kit number 1 on the option of the ivory background. Now I'm going to flip it around and show it on this beautiful navy background. I love how rich this is. So I'm going to set up the same fabrics and see whether we throw her for a zinger and what she thinks of kit number 2. Okay, I'm going to take out these 4 really dark ones that were in kit number 1 because they are on a navy background already, and our new kit is on the navy background. And then I'm going to show you what some of those fabrics look like on this beautiful navy background. So there's that soft and pretty one, and look how gorgeous it looks on the navy background. This wow of a fabric that I love. Look at the scale in that on the navy background, completely different to what it looked on the ivory. This gorgeous one on the navy. Oh, love it. Zing. And again, this one. Now, this shows up more like a royal. It's not actually purple, but it's just because it's on the navy that it shows like a royally blue on that navy background. So I'm going to be putting some lovely dark ones down and showing you the different type results we will get with those. So let me just lay out a few for that. And look how lovely these 3 look together on the navy background. And this one's very arty style. Love it. A beautiful, they're all Liberty Tana lawns. It feels like silk. They're so beautiful to needle turn. And again, you've already got your gorgeous blues. Lots of different levels there, as well as sort of a grey lilac in amongst all those blues. And certainly all your levels of green. This is actually a real green here, and these are all real greens through here. This has got lots of greens through there. So this is your blues and greens, again on the navy background. I'll just put a few more out. So I've laid out 15 there that are 15 from our original number 1, but this time they're showing on the navy background, and you can see how much richer. So I've put out all the tones of blues, some of the creams, and you can see them all on that rich dark navy background and how good they all go together. So again, all different shades of blues and greens with either the dark background or the light background. Okay. Now, just to add something different, I'm going for a real high contrast to your linen there, which is this lovely cream one with all the beautiful leaf work on it. Okay, if you see a charm square and it's got this little mark around the edge, that's where actually been laser cut, and it's like a little singe. It just scores the edge of the fabric to stop it from peeling and shredding. So it's right in the seam allowance. If you were to use it at all, it does not interfere with your fabric at all. It just stops it peeling. Whereas the ones I've cut myself, I have to go back and I either tear my linen or cut my linen, and you'll get your little bits of fray, whereas you won't happen on these ones. So okay, so now I've thrown in a really blue and white one, and I'm going to throw in a little bit of light to actually give you some color. So this time I'm upping the green and the mustard. So you can see back in there, greens and mustards, mustards, greens and mustards, that sort of thing. See all the lovely, again, that one's not showing true color. It is very much a green background, and that's a beautiful green background. So what I'm just doing here is putting some other greens in, greens with blues, greens with blue. So see your greens and blues in there. This beautiful print, which I love. Again, little bit of green and blue. This one's true greens and blues. So that's a new one. That's a new one. That's a new one. That's a new one. So they're added in for the very dark ones that I took out. Okay, that's a new one in. Love it. They're the same palette up to there. And then down here, these are all new. Now, what that will allow you to do is just have a little bit more zing. And I've sort of put them all low there, but if you get to see them around, oh, there's one more. Let's put him up here. Look at that one. So again, some greens and some blues, but just that little weeny touch of colour in these other ones. So what that'll do is allow it to freshen up a little bit. It'll still be blue and green, but it'll just have a few different tones so that when you go and capture your leaves, so for instance, if we were to do a leaf here, you can have a leaf that goes down there with the green and the mustard and the cream. And when we go and stitch with our beautiful colours, and do our pansies and so forth, these are colours that you'll get a little bit more colour into this one. So there'll be a bit more green certainly in this one. See the greens in those, but there'll also be little touches of zing to be able to go with your embroideries. So if I popped that one round there, which is our daisies, look how that would sing off that one. If I popped these hollyhocks around there, again, let me just move it to there. You can see that the colours of the hollyhocks would work off these new fresh ones beautifully. See that? So my suggested palette for this one, which is still blues and greens on the navy background, and I've thrown a little bit more mustard and a little bit of zing colour into this one. Got a gorgeous one here called Morning Glory, which is definitely all your tones of your blues. Quinn, which I love. Here comes Quinn. So that's the light blues and light greeny greys, which will go up with that gorgeous one up there. And again, they're really good to show up against the navy blue. See how that would all show when you're stitching? So Quinn is really soft and subtle and would definitely show up against your navies. It would stay within the tones, but just give it a little bit of a zing. So we've got Quinn, Buttercup, Morning Glory. This time my blue and red would be this Indian Lily. Your blues are a bit fresher. That's a fresher blue. And this little pop of purpley plum round to red would really do the tips of these things, just coming up and picking those things nice. And I also love it with these ones down here. So you can see that that's just a fresher one in there. And again, when we come to do something like this flower, you can see how your Indian Lily would be, those bits would be the tips on our beautiful daisies. Okay, and I've put another one in here, which is called Heliotrope. Heliotrope is blues and purples and mauves. So look at these gorgeous purples here. And then our blues, which is very much the colours that's in your design, and would allow us to do our lavenders and our hollyhocks and all those things that have got the blue, purple, mauve in them. The next one I've got is Wisteria. So I've just brought that down here. Again, a lighter version. So this is sort of a caramelly and a light caramelly and mauve for our Wisteria. And again, that would look beautiful with some of those. Just introducing that little bit more colour to the actual stitching palette so that they get to show up on your navy when you're stitching them. So you can see there, they're going to stitch beautifully onto your navy design and connect those threads with them beautifully. Okay, and we had one more, I think. Did we have eucalyptus? Yes, we did. So again, eucalyptus, which was that lovely blue green, which would certainly go with all of these. Okay, so again, this is the palette where I think you're much better off using your beautiful cottage garden threads. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Wisteria makes 7 would be my choice. I've also put in another red one into this one called Snapdragon, and it's got the red and a zing of the green. So again, when you're doing things like these, just to be able to have that bit of freshness. So I think that would look beautiful on your navy. They're all ones that are going to stand out lovely. Okay, look at the beautiful Liberty Tana lawn to the perlite to the linen, and all your texture you get in the linen. That's going to be lovely. Okay, so that is choice number 2. It's almost the same background of fabrics. Almost the same petals of fabrics. I've just added in these lighter, zingier ones and taken out the very dark navy ones because you would not see them on that navy background. And again, if I just show you what it looks like, I've got 2 made up on my petals, and you can well and truly see your fabrics on the navy, and they look good. I've even got some pinks made up here, which again show you how well they show up on the navy, so that when you're using these ones with your green and your mustard and that, you'll get a really good response on the navy. Beautiful. Look how stunning they are. Okay, so that's option number 2, which is on your navy background. Same palette, slightly different threads, slightly more zing of color, a few more little bits of green and 1 red thrown in. And the thing with that one is we obviously can't use our blues or our browns for our petal for our background because this is a dark background. So this time I've got 4 here to choose from of what I've laid out for you to see what you like. So the first one is white, and if you've ever done sashiko and the norm, you would see that your ecru or white definitely stand out on the navy. So that could be the outside. Okay, the next one is, it's an actual bit of a caramel, light green, sort of, I put it there, it's got a light greeny grey to it. So again, you can well and truly see that. There's the white. There's the grey-green. Okay, that could be the outside of your petal. And when you embroider with those as your outside, I've done the opposite. I've gone for the light as the petal to stand out. You would see that, and you would certainly see that on your navy backgrounds to be the petals. There's another one in line after that, which is a darker, I'm just going to move some of them up out the road. This is a darker grey-green, and that gives a very nice look against the navy too. You get to see it good there. So there's the white, there's the silvery grey-green, and then there's a darker grey-green, which looks lovely with all the palette that is up there. There is one more which I've pulled out, and it's a true caramelly tan. So quite a tan, and it's got a look similar to the grey-green, just not quite as bold. So my choice would be for one of them that you will always see your petals stand out in them. Okay, again, no right or wrong with that. It's just, what do you like to be the petal around the outside edge of each of those? And that's a very blue and green palette, a little bit more floral, just 5 pieces of floral thrown in to give a couple of bits of zing, so that when you're doing your embroideries, the flowers stand out. Okay, so that's choice number 2, completely different to when you saw them on the ivory linen as to what they're like on the navy linen. Okay, chalk and cheese. It's just which one do you like? Okay, that's choice number 2. And there is your cottage garden threads laid out. If you're going for, remember when I put these out, it's always for the ultimate palette. There's your fabrics. If you're going for the ultimate palette to be able to do your embroideries and you don't own any beautiful hand-dyed variegated perlite threads, they're gorgeous cottage garden threads, all perlite. And then they're the colourful little bits of zing that were added. Just little bits, again, blues and greens. Those two were in it. And that was a new one up there as well. So different prints for different areas on that. And the dark navies were taken out. Again, I would put the same blue Daruma silk thread because it's the background of all those that you need to needle turn. And the majority of this is in blues. And then you would need one light one that would be for the background of those. One off-white to background needle turn those. Okay, I do have one here that's a tan. It's a little bit darker than what I would have liked, but I don't have an off-white here one at the moment. And again, choice between those 4 as what your petal color is on the navy background. So that's a beautiful palette. Still blues and greens, a little bit of zing in between. Kit number 2.